Today on Channel 7 News, we're talking about the religion of Islam, founded by the Prophet Muhammad in the 7th century. When he was about 40 years old, he began receiving revelations by the angel Gabriel, and these revelations would be later known as the Quran, a holy text in the Muslim religion. It is also one of the youngest world religions out there, with 1.8 billion followers today.
There are 5 articles of faith in Islam. The first is oneness with God. The second is belief in angels. The third is the belief of and in the revealed books. These books are the Torah, or the Jewish Torah, the Zabur, or Psalms, the Injil, the Gospels, and the Quran. The fourth article of faith is resurrection and judgment. Muslims believe in the Day of Judgment. On this day, all people will be judged by God based on how well they followed Sharia, a way of life in Islam. The fifth is the belief that all is decreed by God. Now to describe the term Sharia and Islamic law. There is a difference between Sharia and Islamic law. Sharia isn't a legal system, and Islamic law is always based on someone's interpretation of the Sharia, which is an interpretation of the Quran, among other things. Sharia covers all aspects of life. Sharia is based on 4 sources: the Quran, the Sunnah, or the practice of the prophets, the Ijma, the Muslim community and leading Muslim scholars, and the Qiyas, the analogical deductions from the first 3 sources. Sharia is categorized as what God has commanded, recommended but not made obligatory, left legally indifferent, deprecated but not actually prohibited, and expressly prohibited. Islamic law is most dominant in Saudi Arabia. Outside of family law, most other Muslim countries have a non-religious system of laws in place.
The 5 pillars of Islam are basic rules that all Muslims should follow. The first one is the Creed, or Shahada, which is a commitment to obey God and the Prophet. Number 2 are the 5 daily prayers, or Salah. Number 3 is almsgiving. Number 4 is fasting during Ramadan. And number 5 is the pilgrimage to Mecca at least once in a lifetime. There are also 2 different denominations of Islam that are the most common. They share the same fundamental views but are based on disagreements of Muhammad's successor, among other things. Sunni Muslims are more secular and conservative, and they believe that Muhammad's successor should be a qualified and devout Islam person. 75% to 90% of all Muslims are in this denomination, and the other common denomination, Shia, is more traditional and orthodox, and they believe that Muhammad's successor should have a direct bloodline to Muhammad.
For Muslims, loyalty and commitment to the family transcends all other loyalties. Marriage is considered a social and legal contract, unlike other religions where marriage is more of a sacrament. Divorce is permitted in Islam, but is said to be hateful to God. The Quran shows particular concern for the welfare of children, stating a parent's first responsibility is the proper care and upbringing of children. Contrary to Western beliefs, both boys and girls are cared for equally under Muslim society. The Quran has specific injunctions not to harm children.
Today, Islam is the world religion that has the greatest number of converts annually. Many scholars today classify Muslims as either traditionalists or modernists. The traditionalists are generally in favor of a more traditional, non-secular society. A traditional educational system stresses the teaching of religious subjects and not generally the secular suspects that are associated with the West. Modernists or reformists are generally more open to trying new innovation and more secular ideas. However, they're willing to adopt an educational system that has adaptation to Islamic doctrines. For many in Islam today, modernism was equivalent to colonial oppression. Sunni modernist reformers focus on education and encourage Muslim scholars to interpret the scriptures for themselves. They often critique Western societies for their extreme secularness. Today, in today's society, it seems in the West that extremist Islam is the most visible part. However, most Muslims reject any kind of violent beliefs. Many modernists actually seek to change the laws in Islam and give more rights to women while taking away some of the traditional privileges exclusive to men.